In a vast intergalactic arena known as the Nexus, where the fiercest warriors from across the galaxy clashed for glory and freedom, a new contender emerged, a human named Marcus Stone. As the Grand Observer, Raza, witnessed the arrival of this peculiar bipedal creature, little did he know that this unassuming figure would soon shatter the very foundations of the Nexus arena. Marcus Stone's arrival was met with skepticism and laughter from the seasoned gladiators. His fragile-looking frame and lack of natural armor or visible weapons made him appear woefully unprepared for the brutality of the arena. However, the human's constant smirk and unflappable demeanor belied a confidence that would soon prove to be well-founded. During the initial assessment and training, Marcus Stone displayed a level of combat expertise that stunned the arena staff. His fluid movements, precise strikes, and an uncanny ability to identify and exploit his opponent's weaknesses quickly dispelled the notion that he was merely a novelty act. As he systematically defeated one gladiator after another, the laughter in the arena gave way to an uneasy silence, and the realization that this human posed a genuine threat began to take hold. Raza, the Grand Observer, closely documented Marcus Stone's rise through the ranks, updating his assessment with each new victory. The human's psychological warfare tactics, his ability to provoke emotional responses in his opponents, and his unwavering determination all painted a picture of a formidable warrior who had mastered the art of combat. The stage was set for the ultimate showdown, as Marcus Stone was pitted against the reigning champion, the fearsome Krax the Destroyer. The entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath in anticipation, with representatives from 32 spacefaring civilizations converging on the Nexus arena to witness the historic clash. As the pre-fight ceremonies commenced, the stark contrast between the two combatants could not have been more pronounced. Krax the Destroyer, a towering crystalline behemoth, underwent the traditional blessing of the First Blood, his gleaming hide adorned with sacred oils. In stark contrast, Marcus Stone's only request was for a coffee maker, a gesture that only served to heighten the sense of unease among the spectators. Raza, the Grand Observer, closely monitored the human's preparations, noting his peculiar behavior with a deck of paper rectangles called solitaire. Stone's calm demeanor and his cryptic references to a figure called Muhammad Ali further fueled the observer's curiosity and concern. The political implications of this match were not lost on the arena's management. Several major powers had expressed their concerns about the potential ramifications of a human victory, fearing that it would upset the established hierarchy of the galaxy. The Proxima Consortium had even offered a substantial bribe to ensure Stone's defeat, but the Nexus arena's reputation for fair combat triumphed, and the bribe was swiftly rejected. As the opening ceremonies concluded, the tension in the air was palpable. The entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see whether the soft-looking human could truly challenge the might of the reigning champion, Krax the Destroyer. The arena erupted in a deafening roar as Krax the Destroyer and Marcus Stone stepped into the ring. The contrast between the two combatants could not have been more stark, the towering, crystalline alien champion and the seemingly fragile human challenger. As the match began, Krax wasted no time, unleashing a barrage of devastating attacks with his massive fists and talons. The crowd roared in anticipation, certain that the human would be crushed in a matter of seconds. However, to their growing disbelief, Marcus Stone managed to evade Krax's blows with a fluidity and grace that belied his unassuming appearance. Raza, the Grand Observer, watched intently, his previous notes on Stone's combat abilities proving to be more accurate than he could have imagined. The human's movements were not those of a novice, but of a seasoned warrior, flowing around Krax's attacks and striking at vulnerable points with precision and efficiency. As the match wore on, the tide began to turn. Krax, frustrated by his inability to land a decisive blow, grew increasingly reckless, his attacks becoming more erratic. Marcus Stone, in contrast, remained calm and focused, patiently waiting for the right moment to strike. Suddenly, with a speed that seemed to defy the laws of physics, Stone darted in, delivering a series of devastating strikes to Krax's weakened joints and pressure points. The champion, taken by surprise, stumbled and fell, his massive frame crashing to the arena floor. The silence that fell over the crowd was deafening, broken only by the sound of Kraxa's labored breathing. Marcus Stone, his face etched with a serene expression, reached down and helped the defeated champion to his feet, offering words of respect and acknowledgement. In that moment, the entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath, the ramifications of this unexpected victory reverberating through the corridors of power. The aftermath of Marcus Stone's stunning victory over Krax the Destroyer sent shockwaves through the Nexus Arena and the entire galactic community. The betting houses, which had offered astronomical odds against the humans' victory, were thrown into chaos as they scrambled to pay out the staggering sums owed to the victorious bettors. Raza, the Grand Observer, found himself at the center of a whirlwind of activity, as representatives from various spacefaring civilizations clamored for information about this enigmatic human. His detailed notes and observations became the subject of intense scrutiny, as the galaxy's power brokers sought to understand the implications of this unexpected turn of events. In the days that followed, Raza delved deeper into Marcus Stone's past, uncovering a wealth of information that only served to deepen the mystery surrounding the human warrior. His extensive combat experience, honed through decades of service in a military force called the United States Marines, and his time spent running a combat training facility, explained the depth of his skills and tactical acumen. But it was Stone's psychological warfare tactics that truly intrigued Raza. The human's ability to provoke emotional responses in his opponents, combined with his unwavering confidence and calm demeanor, had proven to be a formidable combination. Raza realized that Stone's victory was not just a matter of physical prowess, but a masterful display of strategy and mental fortitude. As the galaxy's leaders grappled with the implications of a human champion, Marcus Stone found himself the center of attention, fielding requests for interviews, exhibition matches, and even diplomatic engagements. Yet, despite the newfound fame and adulation, the human remained steadfast in his focus, his sights set on the next challenge that would test the limits of his abilities. Raza, ever the keen observer, could not help but wonder what other surprises this enigmatic human might have in store, and how his presence in the Nexus Arena would ultimately shape the balance of power in the galaxy. In the wake of Marcus Stone's historic victory, the Nexus Arena found itself at the center of a galactic-scale debate about the implications of a human champion. Representatives from various spacefaring civilizations descended upon the arena, each seeking to understand the significance of this unexpected turn of events. Raza, the Grand Observer, found himself in high demand as the galaxy's leader sought his insights and analysis. His detailed notes and observations became the subject of intense scrutiny as the power brokers attempted to gauge the potential threat or opportunity presented by this human warrior. Amidst the flurry of diplomatic activity, Marcus Stone remained largely unperturbed, his focus unwavering. He granted a select number of interviews, always maintaining his trademark composure and charm, but ultimately kept his cards close to his chest. When pressed for details about his past or his plans for the future, the human would simply offer an enigmatic smile and redirect the conversation. The Proxima Consortium, the same entity that had previously offered a substantial bribe to ensure Stone's defeat, now sought to establish a cordial relationship with the human champion. Their representatives approached Raza, inquiring about the possibility of arranging a diplomatic summit between Stone and the consortium's leadership. Raza, ever the cautious observer, was hesitant to facilitate such an interaction. He recognized the delicate balance of power at play and the potential for the Proxima Consortium to leverage their influence to undermine Stone's position. Ultimately, the Grand Observer recommended a more measured approach, suggesting that any diplomatic engagement should be carefully orchestrated and under the auspices of the Nexus Arena's management. As the weeks turned into months, Marcus Stone continued to captivate the galaxy, his victories in the Nexus Arena becoming the stuff of legend. Raza's observations painted a picture of a warrior who was not only physically formidable, but also possessed a remarkable ability to adapt and innovate, constantly seeking new challenges and pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. Yet, despite his rising fame and the growing respect he commanded from his opponents, Raza couldn't help but sense an undercurrent of unease within the human. There was a sense of purpose, a drive that went beyond the thrill of combat, and the Grand Observer found himself increasingly curious about the deeper motivations that fueled Marcus Stone's unstoppable rage. As the months passed and Marcus Stone's legend continued to grow, Raza found himself increasingly drawn into the web of intrigue and suspicion that surrounded the human champion. The Grand Observer's curiosity had been piqued by the subtle shifts in Stone's demeanor, a barely perceptible tension that belied the calm facade he presented to the galaxy. Delving deeper into his observations, Raza began to uncover a troubling pattern. Stone's victories, while undeniably impressive, often came at a cost. The humans' opponents, once the pride of their respective civilizations, were left broken, both physically and mentally, in the wake of their defeats. The Grand Observer's concerns grew as he noticed the subtle changes in the humans' behavior. Stone's interactions with the other gladiators, once marked by a sense of camaraderie and mutual respect, had become more guarded and distant. There were even whispers of a growing resentment among the arena's veterans, who felt that the humans' presence had disrupted the delicate balance of power that had long defined the Nexus arena. Raza's investigation took an even more ominous turn when he uncovered evidence of a shadowy network of informants and operatives, all of whom seemed to be keeping a close eye on Marcus Stone's every move. The Grand Observer's attempts to trace the origins of this network led him down a rabbit hole of diplomatic intrigue, with the Proxima Consortium's name surfacing time and time again. As the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, Raza found himself faced with a stark realization. Marcus Stone's presence in the Nexus arena was not simply a testament to his martial prowess, but a catalyst for a much larger conflict, one that threatened to upend the very foundations of the galaxy's power structures. With a growing sense of unease, the Grand Observer began to question the true nature of his role within the Nexus arena. Had he, in his eagerness to document the humans' rise, inadvertently become a pawn in a game that was far beyond his control? As the shadows deepened and the stakes continued to escalate, Raza knew that he would need to tread carefully, lest he too be caught in the crossfire of the impending storm.